The wind swept across Blackridge Moor like a wounded animal, crying through the dead grass, curling around the jagged stones, and carrying with it a chill that even seasoned locals feared. It was a land of storms, legends, and secrets buried deep beneath the soil. And tonight, it claimed another life. The body was discovered just before dawn. A shepherd boy, no older than 12, had run into the village, screaming, his voice cracked with terror. They found Lord Adrian Blackwell, the last surviving heir of the Blackwell estate, sprawled on the wet earth, face frozen in pure horror. Not pain, not suffering. Horror. His hands were raised as if shielding himself from something unspeakable. His eyes wide, unblinking, stared toward the slope, where the moor thickened into a dense fog. Around his body, the grass was burnt in a perfect circle. Not fire, not lightning, something else. The villagers whispered one name, one legend: the Shadow Beast, a creature older than the moor itself. They said it hunted at night. They said its presence turned the air bitter. They said it was not real. But now, with the dead noblemen lying in their field, the legend felt very real. London, 2 days later. Detective Elias Ward closed the folder on his desk and exhaled slowly. He wasn't the type who believed in legends or curses. His world was built on logic, truth, and clues hidden beneath chaos. But the file in front of him didn't belong to chaos. It belonged to madness. The official report: heart attack. No visible wounds, no poison, no struggle. Yet the photos showed scorch marks around the corpse, and the expression, pure terror. How does a healthy man with no medical history die of fright? Elias muttered. Before he could flip the next page, his office door swung open. Dr. Amelia Clarta, forensic psychologist, and one of the few people he trusted, stepped in with a troubled look. "You've read it?" she asked. "Halfway," Elias replied. "I'm struggling between calling it supernatural nonsense or a staged murder." She hesitated. "Elias, I think you need to see the witness report." He raised a brow. "What witness?" "The shepherd boy, 12 years old." Amelia opened her bag and pulled out a worn notebook. She placed it on the desk, opened to a page of shaky handwriting. The boy had written only one line: "Nas capiche and Rachel rahata orendere kepa zankin thin." The darkness was following him, and the darkness had eyes. Elias closed the notebook slowly. "Amelia, children imagine things, especially on moors. Especially at night." She didn't speak for several seconds. Then, she said something that made Elias sit up. The boy didn't say he imagined it. He said he heard it. Elias frowned. "Heard what?" Amelia swallowed. Growling. Blackridge Village arrival. The train screeched into the old station, and Elias stepped out into cold air laced with mist. Blackridge Village felt like a fossil unchanged for centuries. Stone cottages, oil lamps flickering in the fog, and the silhouette of Blackridge Manor looming far on the hill. He adjusted his coat. "What a cheerful place!" Amelia smirked. "Welcome to the land of superstitions and ghost tales." A local constable, Samuel Briggs, tall with a stern face, walked toward them. "You must be Detective Ward," he said. "We've been expecting you." "Show us the body first," Elias said. Briggs nodded uneasily. "It's not pretty." In the old stone morgue, the room smelled of damp earth and old metal. The body of Lord Adrian Blackwell lay covered with a sheet. Briggs hesitated. Elias stepped forward, and pulled the cloth back. The face still twisted in terror was worse in person. But something else caught Elias's eye. The eyes were blackened, not naturally, but as if they had stared directly into a bright flame. "Heat damage?" Elias asked. Amelia leaned closer. "No soot, no burn patterns. Just blackened pupils. Meaning inhuman levels of fear," she whispered. Elias turned to Briggs. "Any animal tracks nearby?" Briggs stiffened. "Sir, people here say it wasn't an animal. People say a lot of nonsense." Briggs exhaled. "There were footprints." "Human." Briggs shook his head. "Then, whose?" Briggs swallowed, voice low. "The prints were large, larger than a wolf." But shaped wrong. Elias felt the first chill crawl up his neck. "Show me the crime scene." The more fog rolled across the vast expanse. As the three reached the marked site, the wind howled deep, hollow, almost like a warning. Elias knelt and examined the burnt circle around the grass. "Not a fire," he murmured. "Not lightning. Some kind of chemical reaction. Or something else," Amelia added. Elias ignored that. Then he saw them. Footprints. Huge. Deep. Oddly shaped. Three-toed. Spaced too far apart for any known animal. He felt the hair on his arms rise. Briggs whispered, "Sir, villagers say this is the work of the shadow beast." Elias stood. "Briggs, do I look like someone who believes in beasts?" But Amelia wasn't looking at the footprints. She was looking at the fog. Her eyes widened. "Elias," she whispered, "something is moving in the mist." Elias turned sharply. A shadow, tall, silent, almost human, almost not. It shifted, then vanished into the fog. Elias felt his heartbeat thud in his chest. Not fear, but something worse. "Curiosity," he whispered. "What in the world is living on this moor?" Blackridge Manor stood like a sleeping giant, its stone walls dark, its windows staring like hollow eyes into the fog. The long, winding road up the hill felt abandoned. Even the wind seemed afraid of entering the estate. Detective Elias Ward and Dr. Amelia Clark followed Constable Briggs through the rusted gates. They groaned open, as if warning them not to proceed. Lord Adrian lived alone. Elias asked. "Mostly," Briggs replied. "He had servants, but after the attacks last month, they resigned." Elias stopped walking. "Attacks?" Briggs seemed hesitant. "Sheep, sir. Cattle. Torn apart. Strange bite marks. The villagers thought the shadow beast." Elias finished dryly. Briggs nodded. Amelia glanced at Elias. "Even you have to admit this is getting strange." "Strange doesn't mean supernatural," Elias said. "It just means the answers are complicated." Inside the manor, the floors creaked under their feet. The air smelled of old wood, herbs, and something else. Something sour. Briggs led them to Lord Adrian's study. "This is where he spent his last evening," Briggs said. The room was a mess. Books scattered, a chair overturned, ink spilled on the desk. But something else caught Elias's eye. Scratches deep, irregular claw marks carved into the wooden floor. Amelia stepped beside him. "These weren't made by a human." Look at the spacing. Elias knelt down. "Not an animal either. These claws are too long, too clean." Almost like he stopped. "Like what?" Amelia asked. He didn't answer. because he didn't know the letter. Elias sifted through the papers on the desk until something slid free a sealed envelope. To whoever finds this. The note read. Elias opened it. The ink was shaky, rushed, written in clear panic. The shadows are alive. ... They watch me. ... They follow me. When the fog comes, I can hear them whisper my name. ... If I die? No, this is no curse. Something walks on Blackridge Moor. ... Something that should not exist. Amelia exhaled sharply. He knew he was being hunted. Or losing his mind, Elias said. Fear can do that. Double quotes. ... But even he didn't believe his own words. ... Strange sound suddenly thump. A heavy impact from the upper floor. Briggs stiffened. That came from the east wing. Elias gestured. Let's go. They climbed the staircase, each step echoing through the silent manor. The corridor upstairs was darker, lined with portraits of Blackwell ancestors' stern faces, cold eyes following them. Another sound. ... Scrape. Scrape. Metal dragging on wood, Elias whispered. Stay quiet. They followed the sound to a half-open door. Elias pushed it gently. The room inside was empty except for a broken mirror and a wardrobe pushed oddly to one side. The scraping continued. ... From inside the wardrobe, Briggs reached for his gun. ... Amelia whispered, careful. The scraping stopped. ... The silence grew heavier. Elias counted 2, 3 and yanked the wardrobe door open. A woman fell out, screaming. ... Briggs grabbed her. Miss, calm down. She was trembling violently, her clothes torn, her feet muddy, her eyes wide with terror. Amelia knelt beside her. It's okay. You're safe now. What happened? The woman gasped, voice shaking. I didn't want to die out there. It was following me. Who? Elias asked. Her eyes darted wildly. Not who. What? Elias helped her sit up. What were you doing in the manor? I used to work here, she said. ... Cook. I came back to collect my belongings. But when I was crossing the moor, I heard it, running behind me. Running? Elias asked. ... She nodded frantically. ... Fast. ... Too fast, and the ground shook. I couldn't see it, just its shadow in the fog. Elias exchanged a glance with Amelia. The woman continued, voice cracking. It whispered my name. A chill crawled up their spines. Then I saw its eyes. 3 eyes. Glowing. Elias frowned. How many people in this village actually claim to have seen this creature? Not seen, she corrected. ... Survived. ... Nightfall, they escorted the woman to safety and returned to the manor as the sun disappeared behind the moors. Night came quickly in Blackridge too. Quickly, Amelia stood by the window, staring at the fog rolling across the land like a living thing. "Elias," she said quietly, "do you feel it?" "Feel what?" Dot dot dot. "The air. Dot 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 dot. The moor. Dot dot. The shadows. Dot 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 dot. It's like something is watching us." Elias joined her. The fog was thick, hugging the ground, moving in unnatural waves. "I don't believe in monsters," he said. Amelia didn't take her eyes off the moor. "Maybe the problem is, this isn't a monster we've seen before. Dot 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 dot. There was a howl outside. Dot 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 dot. Not a wolf. Dot 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 dot. Not a dog. Something deeper. Something older. Dot 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 dot." Briggs ran upstairs. "Sir, you need to come outside now." They rushed to the gate where an old man, hunched and trembling, was banging a wooden staff on the ground. His face was weathered, eyes burning with urgency. "You shouldn't be here," he shouted. "Not at night. The moor belongs to it after dark." Elias approached calmly. "Who are you?" The man gripped Elias's coat. "I am Malcolm Crane. I have lived here 70 years. I've seen things. Lost friends, lost family. Tell me what you know." Elias said, dot dot dot. Malcolm leaned in, whispering, "It doesn't kill for hunger. It kills because it wants you to fear. It feeds on fear." Amelia stiffened. "Like psychological manipulation?" "No," Malcolm said, shaking his head. "Fear is its weapon. The more you fear it, the stronger it becomes. That's why it whispers. That's why it shows itself." Elias frowned. "What is it?" Malcolm looked toward the moor, voice trembling. "A creation, a mistake. Something made long ago and abandoned." "Made," Elias repeated. "By who? Dot 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 dot." Before Malcolm could answer, a growl echoed from the fog. Long low, hungry, the old man's face turned white. "It's here." Elias drew his torch and stepped toward the fog. Dot 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 dot. Double quotes Elias Stone, Amelia shouted. But it was too late. The fog shifted. A massive shadow moved inside it, slow, deliberate, aware. 3 glowing eyes opened. Dot 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 dot, staring directly at him. The growl deepened. Amelia grabbed his arm. "Elias, move." But Elias couldn't, because for the first time in his life, he felt fear, real fear. And in that darkness, something whispered his name. Elias stood frozen as the 3 glowing eyes hovered inside the fog like lanterns, suspended in darkness. His heartbeat hammered in his ears, yet his legs refused to move. The creature didn't roar. This time it breathed. Slow, deep, heavy breaths that vibrated through the air. Amelia yanked his arm hard. "Elias, snap out of it." Dot 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 dot. The fog shifted. The eyes sank lower, as if the creature were crouching, ready to strike. Malcolm hissed, "Back away, boy. Don't stare at it." But Elias couldn't obey. Something about those eyes held him in place, not hypnotic, but intelligent, curious, studying him. Then, without warning, the creature lunged. Amelia screamed, and shoved Elias aside. A monstrous shape burst out of the fog in a silhouette, but its speed was unnatural, its size enormous. Briggs fired his gun, the blast echoing across the moor. The shadow jerked, paused, then slowly retreated into the fog. Not running, not injured, ... retreating calmly, ... as if saying, not yet. Elias lay on the ground, gasping. Amelia knelt beside him, shaking his shoulders. Elias, are you hurt? He sat up slowly. No, 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 I'm fine. ... But his eyes were still fixed on the fog. What was that? Briggs holstered his gun, hands trembling. Whatever it was, the bullet didn't bother it. Malcolm's voice was a whisper. Told you, fear gives it strength. Weapons won't stop it. Knowledge will. Elias turned sharply. Then tell me what you were trying to say earlier. You said it was created. By who? Malcolm looked around nervously, then motioned toward the manor. Not out here. The fog listens. They rushed back inside and locked the doors. The manor felt colder now, every shadow deeper. Malcolm stood near the fireplace, gathering his breath before speaking. It was the old families, he said, long before Adrian's time, before mine. Experimenters, scholars, men who wanted to control nature. They believed the moor was alive with ancient energy, something powerful, something they could use. Elias leaned closer. Use for what? To create a guardian, Malcolm said. A protector. A creature forged from fear itself. A living weapon. Amelia frowned. You're saying someone engineered it? Like some kind of psychological beast? Malcolm nodded slowly. Only fear makes it real. Only fear feeds it. Double quotes ... Elias shook his head. This sounds impossible. Impossible or not, Malcolm said. You've seen it. Elias opened his mouth to argue, but closed it. Because Malcolm was right. The eyes, the shape, the speed. It had been real. Amelia folded her arms. If it was created, then someone must have known how to control it. ... Or destroy it, Briggs added. Malcolm's face hardened. They tried. Failed. It broke free. Since then, it has hunted the moors. It kills anyone who wanders at night. He paused. But there's more. Elias's voice dropped. Say it. ... Malcolm whispered. The creature returns to the one it remembers. The bloodline of the man who made it. Elias felt a cold realization settling in. The Blackwell family ... Double quotes ... Malcolm nodded. Adrian was marked long before he was born. Amelia's eyes widened. So it wasn't random, it wanted him. Elias paced the room. If that's true, then it won't stop. And if Adrian had evidence or research left behind, that might be the key. Briggs scratched his head. But where? Malcolm pointed upward. The attic. The old master's laboratory. Nobody goes there. His voice trembled. Nobody comes back. Elias grabbed his torch. Then that's where we're going. Amelia stepped in front of him. Are you insane? We just saw a monster that grows stronger when you're afraid, and that's exactly why we need answers. Elias said. If we don't confront it, more people die. Malcolm sighed. Then at least don't go alone. They moved through dim hallways, the wooden stairs groaning under their weight as they ascended to the attic. The higher they climbed, the colder the air became. Frost glimmered on the banister as if winter itself lived up here. At the top, a large wooden door stood closed. Heavy claw marks scarred its surface. Briggs whispered, "This door wasn't like this weeks ago." Double quotes, ... Elias touched the scratches. Fresh, deep. Something had been scratching from the inside. He swallowed and pushed the door open. The attic was a vast space of dust-covered tables, broken equipment, glass jars, and ancient notebooks. The smell of chemicals hung in the frozen air. Strange symbols were carved on the wooden beams, circles, lines, runes. Amelia whispered, "This was a lab. A very old one. ... Malcolm nodded. Long abandoned." Elias walked to a large table in the center. On it lay a thick, leather-bound journal. The name on the cover was barely legible. Edwin Blackwell, ... dash, the ancestor who supposedly created the beast. Elias opened the book carefully. The first pages were notes, diagrams, and studies of human fear. The later pages grew darker descriptions of rituals, experiments, and attempts to bind a consciousness to the moor. Amelia read over his shoulder. He tried to create a guardian that would sense danger through fear, but the experiment turned into something else. Elias flipped another page. A sketch caught his attention. ... A creature. ... Massive limbs, a shadow-like body, ... almost identical to what they saw. Suddenly, the attic temperature dropped sharply. ... Their breaths turned to mist. Briggs shivered. "Do you feel that?" The lantern flickered violently, then went out. Darkness swallowed the attic. Amelia grabbed Elias's arm. "Something's here." A low growl echoed from the far corner. Closer, closer. Elias raised his torch and turned it on, and there, towering above the boxes, stood the creature. Its 3 eyes glowed with fury. It didn't attack. It started, then whispered, not with a mouth, but inside their minds. "Leave the moor." The sound shook Elias to his bones. Briggs stumbled backward. We have to run." But Elias stepped forward, trembling but firm. "Why did you kill Adrian Blackwell?" he demanded. The creature tilted its head, the shadows rippling around it like smoke. "He awakened me." Amelia whispered, "How?" The creature stepped closer, its claws scraping the floor. "He entered the moor on the night of the blood moon." Malcolm gasped. "He performed the ritual." The creature leaned forward, eyes blazing. "He called me, and I answered." Elias's voice was barely steady. "And now? What do you want now?" A long moment passed. ... Then the creature spoke. "I want freedom." Before anyone could react, the creature lunged, not to attack, but to shatter the attic window. Glass exploded outward. Cold air rushed in, and the creature leapt into the night, disappearing into the fog. The moor roared with its growl. Amelia whispered. Elias? It escaped the moor. Malcolm's voice cracked with terror. No, this has never happened before. Elias stared into the darkness outside. If the creature was no longer bound to the moor, then nowhere was safe. The broken attic window whistled with icy wind, blowing dust and old papers across the floor. Elias leaned forward, staring into the fog outside as the creature's silhouette dissolved into the night. The moor felt alive again, angry, awakened, and unbound. Amelia stepped beside him. Elia, if it can leave the moor, everything changes. Malcolm sank onto an old crate, face pale. It was trapped there for generations, bound by the ritual that created it. If it shattered the window and escaped Briggs, finished the sentence for him, then the bindings are broken. Elias turned sharply, meaning it can go wherever it wants. Malcolm nodded weakly. And kill whoever it wants. Elias grabbed the journal. No, there has to be a way to contain it again. Edwin Blackwell made it so. He must have written how to control it. He flipped the pages rapidly. Old diagrams, fear studies, ritual instructions, but the last pages were torn out as if ripped in fury. Amelia noticed something. Wait, look here. On the inside cover, faint text appeared, scratched into the leather. The beast serves nitro monoxide master. Fear is its home. Only courage can chain it. Elias frowned. Courage? What does that even mean? A metaphor? Malcolm shook his head. Not metaphor. Literal. The beast weakens when someone is unafraid of it. Briggs scoffed. How does anyone stay unafraid of that thing? Malcolm's face twisted in sorrow. That's why no one ever survived a direct confrontation. Elias closed the journal. We need more information. Let's search the manor. Downstairs, the manor groaned under the wind. Shadows crawled across the walls like living ink. Elias moved cautiously, scanning every corner. Amelia followed close, holding a lantern that flickered with every breath of cold air. They entered the library, a massive room with towering shelves, dusty armchairs, and an old fireplace long extinguished. Elias found more Blackwell journals, but most were mundane estate records, astronomy notes, alchemy experiments. Amelia paused near a window. Elias, he walked over. Outside, on the far hillside, a faint glow pulsed inside the fog. Not fire, not lanterns. Eyes. 3 eyes, looking at them from a distance. Elias's chest tightened. It's watching the manor. Malcolm backed away from the window. It won't come inside. Not yet. Briggs frowned. How do you know? Because it wants something, Malcolm whispered. It could have killed all of us in the attic, but it didn't. Elias felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. Then, what does it want? Suddenly, bang! The front door slammed open downstairs. All of them froze. Briggs whispered, "That wasn't the wind." Amelia blew out the lantern, plunging them into darkness. We shouldn't let it know where we are. Footsteps echoed through the foyer. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Elias pulled his gun, moving silently down the staircase. The others stayed close. As they reached the first floor, a figure appeared in the moonlit hallway. Not the beast. A man, tall, soaked in rain, breathless. "Help," he gasped. "Please, someone help me." Briggs stepped forward. "Who are you?" "My name is Isaac Gray," the man said, trembling. "I live near the South Woods. Something attacked my farm. I ran here because a deep growl cut through his words." Isaac's face went white. "It followed me," Amelia whispered. "It's hunting him." The growl echoed from outside close, circling the manor. Elias grabbed Isaac's arm. "Tell me exactly what happened." Isaac's voice shook. "I heard footsteps around my house. Heavy ones. My dog started barking. Then I saw the eyes. 3 eyes. I ran. I didn't look back." Briggs locked the door behind them. "We can't stay here. It'll tear the place apart." Malcolm disagreed. "No, it won't enter. Not unless a window shattered on the far side of the manor." The creature's enormous shadow flickered on the wall. Amelia whispered harshly, "You were saying, Malcolm." Malcolm's voice trembled. "It shouldn't enter. It never did in the past unless someone inside is connected to its awakening." Elias froze. Connected. His gaze darted to Isaac. Isaac stepped back, panicking. "What? Why are you looking at me like that?" Elias stepped forward. "Isaac, when did the attacks on the moors start intensifying?" 3 weeks ago, Isaac said quickly. "Maybe 4. Elias squinted. "And when did you move to the South Woods?" Isaac swallowed hard. 6 weeks ago. Amelia caught it too. "Isaac, what's your family name?" "Your real family name." Isaac turned pale. He backed into a corner, eyes darting to the broken window. Malcolm stepped forward. "Boy, answer them." Isaac's voice barely came out. "Blackwell." Briggs gasped. "He's a Blackwell." Isaac nodded shakily. "My grandmother changed our name. We wanted nothing to do with the manor or its history." Elias felt his blood run cold. "You're part of the bloodline." The creature wasn't bound to the manor. It was bound to the Blackwells. Amelia finished. Isaac stammered, I never meant to wake it." Another deep growl shook the walls. The creature slammed into the side of the manor. Books fell. Dust rained from the ceiling. Glass shattered. Isaac screamed. Amelia pulled him back. Briggs aimed his gun, though they all knew it was useless. The beast's shadow loomed by the window massive, contorted, shifting like smoke. Malcolm whispered, voice hollow, "It doesn't want the manor. It wants him." Isaac fell to his knees. "I don't want to die." Elias grabbed him by the collar, forcing him to look into his eyes. "Isaac Lisan." To me, it grows stronger when you're afraid. Control your fear. I can't. You must, or we all die. The creature roared, shaking the entire manor. Shards of glass flew as its massive claws pierced through the wall. Amelia screamed, "Elias, need a plan." Elias pulled out Edwin Blackwell's journal. "Courage chains it. Fear feeds it." Malcolm nodded. "Then someone must face it without fear." Briggs stepped forward bravely. "I'll do it." Elias stopped him. "No, it needs the bloodline." Isaac's breathing quickened as the shadow of the beast stretched toward him. "No," he cried. "Please don't. Make me." Elias gripped his shoulders firmly. "Isaac, if you dent the face, it now nobody survives the night." Outside, the creature growled deep, shaking the earth. Its 3 glowing eyes stared into the manor with murderous hunger. The fog thickened. The house trembled. Isaac sobbed. And then, Elias turned to him and said the words that would decide their fate. "Isaac, it's time to meet the monster your family created." Night had fallen, and the air carried an uneasy calm. Beneath that calm, something tense was moving. Leah stood near her window, staring again at the forest where she had heard that strange, intelligent, terrifying howl. Her heart refused to believe it was her imagination. Holmes was still in the study, walking in circles, scanning every file on the table. His eyes had that sharp focus that appeared only when he reached the core of a case. He opened the door and walked straight to Leah's room. "Leah," he knocked lightly. "Yes?" she answered, startled. "May I come in?" "Yes, of course." Holmes entered and looked directly at her. "You're not all right. It's written all over your face." Leah breathed slowly. "Holmes, I heard that howl again tonight. It didn't sound human." Holmes turned his eyes toward the dark forest outside the window. "Not human. No, it was like an animal, but bigger, deeper." Holmes lowered his head, thinking, sometimes the first clue is not what we see, but what we hear. Leah swallowed nervously. "So you also believe there's something in that forest?" Holmes didn't answer directly. He simply closed the window and pulled the curtains shut. "Tonight, no matter what happens, you will not leave this room. Understood?" "Yes," she whispered. The whole house fell silent. Holmes turned off the light in his room. Watson was already asleep. Leah locked her door. Then it came again. The howl, deeper than before. Closer, more terrifying. Leah grabbed her blanket, trembling. The ground near the forest seemed to shake slightly, as if something heavy was stepping on it. Holmes heard it too. He instantly grabbed his lantern and coat. "It's time," he whispered. He walked out of the back door and headed straight toward the forest. The night air was cold. The darkness inside the forest felt thicker. The path was covered in soft soil, but tonight, new marks were there. Marks unlike any normal animal. Holmes bent down to study them. He brought the lantern close. A long, deep line. As if something heavy had been dragged across the ground, Holmes placed his palm on the soil. It was freshly disturbed, whatever it was. Passed here moments ago. The forest grew darker, the air colder. Somewhere in the distance, a faint movement stirred. Holmes raised his lantern. Deep inside the woods stood an old stone tower, and behind that tower, something shifted. Holmes stepped forward slowly. Then he heard it, this time right behind the tower. Deep rumbling. Holmes stopped. He lifted the lantern higher, and in the darkness, two glowing, circular red eyes lit up. The two red eyes did not blink. They hovered in the dark, locked on Holmes. Holmes tightened his grip on the lantern, but his face stayed calm. Only his heartbeat quickened. A low growl rolled through the air, so deep it vibrated inside his chest. Holmes took a silent step back, not out of fear, but to position himself better. The creature moved. Something heavy brushed against the ground. A shadow shifted behind the stone tower. Holmes tried to trace its outline, but the darkness swallowed everything except those glowing eyes. Then the eyes blinked once, a slow, deliberate blink. Holmes whispered, "So, you are real." At that exact moment, a branch snapped somewhere to the right. Holmes turned sharply, but it wasn't the creature. It was Watson, breathing hard, holding a lantern of his own. "Holmes," Watson whispered loudly, "why didn't you wake me? Are you Matt, you. Holmes raised a finger, signaling silence. Watson froze. He finally saw the two red eyes, his breath caught in his throat. My God, Watson muttered. Holmes whispered, don't move, not even an inch. The creature made another sound, a half growl, half snarl. Then something unexpected happened. The eyes moved upward, slowly rising, higher and higher, as if the creature was standing. Watson's eyes widened. How tall is this thing? Holmes didn't answer. He was studying the speed, the angle, the slight delay between steps. He was reading the creature like a puzzle. Then, as if reacting to their presence, the creature took one step forward. A massive foot landed on the soft soil, inches away from the lantern light. Watson stepped back instantly. Holmes didn't move. The creature hesitated, and then vanished back into the darkness silently, unnaturally fast, almost as if it melted into the shadows. The glowing eyes disappeared. The forest fell dead silent. Watson exhaled loudly. Holmes, what was that? That wasn't a man. That wasn't an animal either. Holmes lowered his lantern. It was watching us, he said, measuring us. That wasn't an attack. That was a warning. A warning, Watson repeated. Holmes nodded. And whatever it is, it doesn't want us near that old tower. Watson looked at the tower's cracked walls. What's inside? Holmes stared at the tower for a long, dark moment. Something, he said softly. Someone worked very hard to hide. Holmes turned away. We must return to the manor before it comes back. As they walked away, Holmes didn't say another word. But Watson noticed something he had never seen before. Holmes was uneasy, not afraid, but deeply unsettled. Behind them, in the forest, a branch snapped again. Holmes and Watson reached the manor without speaking. Leah was waiting near the main hall, trembling, holding a candle that shook in her hand. You heard it again? Holmes asked quietly. Leah nodded. It felt closer this time, like it was right outside the wall. Holmes looked toward the dark forest through the window. It was, he said softly. Watson placed his lantern down. Holmes, we need a plan. That thing is not ordinary. We don't even know what we're dealing with. Holmes finally sat down on the nearest chair. But he didn't rest. His mind was racing. He tapped his fingers on the table. Leah, I want to know something. Did your father ever go near that old tower? Leah hesitated. Yes, she whispered. Many times, but he never told me why. Holmes leaned forward. What did he say about it? Anything. Leah swallowed. Just that it was dangerous, and that I must never step inside. Holmes exchanged a quick, sharp glance with Watson. Did he ever tell you what he found there? Holmes asked. Leah shook her head. No. But the night before he died, he looked terrified. He kept repeating something. Holmes' eyes narrowed. What did he repeat? Leah closed her eyes. Remembering, he said. It sees in the dark. Over and over. Watson shivered. That matches what we saw. Holmes stood abruptly. Watson, pack what we need. We're going back there at dawn. Leah looked afraid. No, you can't go. That thing. Holmes cut her off gently. That creature isn't wandering randomly. It's guarding something. Something connected to your father's death. Leah looked down, tears forming. I don't want anyone else dying because of it. Holmes placed a hand on her shoulder. No one is dying. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. Watson nodded in agreement, but his face showed doubt. The night passed slowly. Every creak of the wooden house felt louder. No one slept well. Even the candles seemed to burn with uneasiness. Just before sunrise, Holmes was already outside, checking the tracks near the forest's edge. Watson joined him. "You really think the tower holds the key?" Holmes didn't look up. "I'm certain." He pointed at the ground. "Look. More prints. Fresh ones. It circled the manor last night." Watson stepped back. It was watching us while we slept. Holmes stood and looked toward the rising sun. "Watson, whatever this creature is, it has intelligence. It observes, underscore, it waits. It warns, underscore." Watson tightened his coat. "So what now?" Holmes took a deep breath. "Now," he said, "we go into the tower, and we find what your father died to protect." Behind them, from deep inside the forest, a low growl echoed again, but duller, weaker, as if the creature had been wounded. Holmes turned instantly. "This changes everything." He began walking toward the forest. Watson hurried behind him. "What are you thinking now?" Holmes answered softly. "If the creature is hurt, someone else may be hunting it." The night air was thick with fog as we approached the outskirts of Ashwood Manor. Its looming silhouette seemed even more sinister under the pale moonlight. The villagers' warnings echoed in my mind. Yet curiosity and duty propelled me forward. Sherlock's eyes glimmered with anticipation. He thrived on such enigmas. "The game is far from over, Watson," he murmured, his voice barely audible over the whistling wind. "There is more beneath this mystery than mere superstition." We entered through the grand but decaying doors, the wood groaning under our touch. Inside, the air was stale, carrying the scent of damp earth and forgotten secrets. Shadows danced across the walls as our lantern flickered, illuminating ornate tapestries that had long since faded. Suddenly, a sound made us freeze, a soft, deliberate tapping from the upper corridor. Sherlock's hand instinctively went to his coat pocket, where he kept his magnifying glass. I followed his gaze upward, noticing the faint silhouette of a figure at the window. "Someone's here," he said calmly, "and they wish to remain unseen." We ascended the spiral staircase, each step echoing ominously. The tapping continued, now accompanied by a low growl that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. My heart raced, but Sherlock's composure was unshaken. At the top of the stairs, a long hallway stretched into darkness. Paintings of the Mena's ancestors stared down at us with judgmental eyes. Then, abruptly, the tapping stopped. Silence engulfed us. Sherlock signaled me to stay back as he advanced, his hand steady and his mind clearly calculating every possible danger. As he reached the end of the corridor, a door creaked open by itself. A cold breeze swept past, extinguishing our lantern momentarily. When the light returned, a room lay before USA study, cluttered with papers and books, all seemingly abandoned in haste. Yet, at the center of the room, a single chair faced the fireplace, and upon it, a note meticulously folded, with our names written in bold, deliberate handwriting. Sherlock picked it up and read aloud. "The truth is closer than you think, yet the shadows will claim what the light cannot reach. E. Shivered. The words were ominous, yet precise, like the signature of someone intelligent, deliberate, and deeply familiar with fear. "This is no ordinary case, Watson," Sherlock said, eyes scanning every corner of the room. "We are dealing with a mind that seeks to manipulate not only our senses, but our very perception of reality. The game has entered a dangerous new phase." Suddenly, a faint scratching noise erupted from behind the fireplace. Smoke curled from the hearth, as if the room itself was alive, breathing around us. My instincts screamed to flee, but Sherlock advanced, determined to confront the source. And then, without warning, a figure emerged from the shadows, a man in a tattered cloak, face obscured, moving with the silent grace of a predator. His eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, reflecting a strange knowledge, a warning, or perhaps a challenge. "You've come far, detectives," he whispered, voice a strange mixture of mockery and respect. "But can you truly handle what lies ahead?" Before Sherlock could respond, he vanished into thin air, or so it seemed. The fireplace roared to life suddenly, flames dancing unnaturally high. Books flew from shelves, papers scattered like autumn leaves, and the room was plunged into chaos. Sherlock grabbed my arm, pulling me down, just as a shadow darted across the room, faster than human eyes could follow. "Hold fast, Watson. This is no ordinary adversary." I barely had time to catch my breath as the figure reappeared near the window, pointing at a map pinned to the wall. It depicted the entire Ashwood estate. Marked in red were areas that seemed alive, as if pulsating with some hidden energy. "The answer lies there," Sherlock muttered, tracing the marks with his finger. "And we have no time to waste." The room fell silent once more, save for the crackling of the fire and our quickened breaths. Outside, the wind howled like a chorus of restless spirits, warning us of dangers yet unseen. But neither of us stepped back. The mystery had grown. Yes, but so had our resolve. Tonight, the shadows of Ashwood Manor would reveal more than legend or fear, and I feared that once we uncovered its secrets, nothing would ever be the same again. Sherlock and I moved swiftly down the hall, the map etched in our minds like a warning we could not ignore. Every corner of Ashwood Manor seemed alive with whispers, each creak and groan carrying secrets that had festered for decades. My heart pounded, yet I tried to remain steady beside Sherlock, whose calm demeanor never faltered. We reached the marked section on the map, a long corridor hidden behind a false wall, which Sherlock discovered with a precise tap of his cane. A thin layer of dust covered the ground, undisturbed for years, except for the faint footprints that led toward a heavy oak door. The air around it was inexplicably cold, and I shivered, realizing that the manor itself seemed to resist our intrusion. Sherlock placed his hand on the doorknob and paused. "There's something guarding this place," he murmured, his eyes scanning the shadows. "Not a person, something else, but nothing can stop reason." With that, he opened the door. The room beyond was enormous, vaulted ceilings disappearing into darkness. In the center, a massive stone pedestal held a small, glowing orb that pulsed like a heartbeat. Shadows moved unnaturally around it, curling and twisting as if alive. Before I could react, a voice echoed from nowhere and everywhere. "You've come far, but the final truth will test your very essence." I felt a cold chill as the shadows swirled faster, forming shapes, faces twisted in anguish, limbs stretching and bending in impossible ways. The orb floated higher, radiating light that pierced the darkness, revealing intricate carvings on the walls, stories of betrayal, revenge, and forbidden knowledge. Sherlock studied the carvings carefully, his finger tracing lines of symbols. "This is no ordinary mystery. Watson, the orb is a focal point, a catalyst. And these shadows, they are not mere illusions. They are remnants of minds bound to the estate. Suddenly, a figure stepped forward from the shadows. A man, tall and gaunt, with eyes as dark as midnight. He raised his hand, and the orb's light intensified, throwing our shadows grotesquely across the walls. "You dare challenge the legacy of Ashwood?" he demanded, voice reverberating like 1,000 echoes. "Many have tried, none have succeeded." Sherlock stepped forward, calm and precise. "We do not challenge. We seek the truth, and the truth is never defeated by fear." The man's eyes narrowed, and the shadows around him surged violently. I could feel the room bending, twisting, as if the walls themselves were alive. Yet Sherlock moved closer to the orb, studying its glow. He whispered to me, "The answer lies not in force, Watson, but in understanding its origin." I watched in awe as he circled the pedestal, analyzing every engraving, every pulse of light. The gaunt man hissed, shadows clawing at Sherlock, but he remained steady, as if untouched. Then, in a sudden moment of clarity, Sherlock reached toward the orbinate with aggression, but with calm precision. The shadows froze, and the orb's glow shifted, casting light that revealed a hidden mechanism beneath the pedestal. With careful hands, Sherlock activated it, and a hidden compartment opened. Inside lay a collection of letters, journals, and artifact secrets of the Ashwood family, spanning generations. The gaunt man's form began to dissolve, his voice turning to a whisper. "You have found it." Before fading completely, the room stilled. The shadows receded, and the oppressive weight lifted. The orb dimmed, returning to a soft glow, as if satisfied with our discovery. Sherlock turned to me, a rare smile on his face. "Watson, the Manor's curse was never in the supernatural. It was in the hidden truths, long buried and feared. Now we hold them, and with them understanding." I exhaled, relief mingled with awe. We had faced the darkness of Ashwood Manor and emerged not just unscathed, but enlightened. But as we prepared to leave, I could not shake the feeling that Ashwood still held more secrets, waiting silently in the shadows for the next seekers of truth. We descended the hidden corridor, the letters and journals securely in Sherlock's satchel. The oppressive weight that had haunted Ashwood Manor seemed lighter now, yet the air remained tense, as if the house itself was reluctant to release its secrets. I glanced around nervously, half expecting the shadows to rise again, but they remained dormant. As we reached the grand hall, a distant sound made us stop. A slow, deliberate tapping, echoing through the manor once more. Sherlock's eyes narrowed. "It seems the manor is not done with us," he murmured. "Someone or something wants these truths to remain buried." We followed the sound to the eastern wing, a part of the manor we had not explored. There, in a forgotten study, we found another figure, a woman, her face partially hidden beneath a hood, her movements fluid and deliberate. She held a small, intricately carved box, its surface etched with the same strange symbols as the orb. "Who are you?" Sherlock demanded. She smiled faintly, but it did not reach her eyes. "I am the Guardian," she said softly, voice almost a whisper. "The one who ensures the balance between what should be known and what should remain hidden." I felt a chill. "And this box?" I asked. "The final key," she replied. "It holds the most dangerous secrets of Ashwood Manor, truths that could change everything if revealed carelessly. Many have sought it. Few have understood the consequences." Sherlock stepped closer, his expression unreadable. "We seek only understanding, not destruction. We aim to uncover, not to exploit." The woman studied him carefully, then slowly extended the box toward him. If you take it, you accept the weight of knowledge. Once opened, there is no turning back. Sherlock hesitated for only a moment before taking the box. I could see the intensity in his eyes, the careful calculation, the thrill of discovery, and the responsibility weighing on him all at once. "Very well," he said. "We accept." The moment he opened the box, a wave of energy seemed to fill the room. Light cascaded from the symbols, illuminating hidden murals on the wall, scenes of Ashwood's past, betrayals, secret alliances, forbidden experiments. The manor itself seemed to pulse with revelation, every creak and groan now carrying meaning. The Guardian watched silently, her presence calm yet powerful. Sherlock carefully examined the contents, a collection of letters, diagrams, and artifacts detailing a lineage of intelligence, cunning, and calculated deception. Every generation had added a piece to the puzzle, and now the full scope was clear. "This is remarkable," I whispered. "It explains everything: the shadows, the fear, the legends." Sherlock nodded slowly. "Yes, Watson, Ashwood Manor's reputation as a haunted estate was never about spirits or curses. It was about power, secrecy, and the lengths people go to protect what they value most." The woman finally spoke again, her voice gentle. "You now hold the knowledge that many have died protecting. Use it wisely, or Ashwood's shadows may yet claim those who wield it recklessly." With that warning, she vanished as silently as she had appeared, leaving us alone in the grand hall. The manor was still, almost peaceful, though I could sense the undercurrent of history and mystery lingering in the air. Sherlock closed the box carefully, securing it in his satchel. "Our work here is done, Watson," he said, "but Ashwood Manor will remain a reminder. Knowledge comes with responsibility, and some truths are heavier than others." I nodded, understanding the gravity of our discovery. As we stepped out into the foggy night, the manor loomed behind us, silent yet alive with secrets that had endured centuries. We had unraveled its mysteries, but the story of Ashwood would continue forever, a place where the shadows and the light intersected, and where truth awaited those brave enough to seek it. The fog hung thicker than before as we left Ashwood Manor behind, yet the chill in the air felt less menacing now. Sherlock walked with his usual measured pace, satchel secure, his mind clearly still, analyzing every detail we had uncovered. I struggled to keep up, my thoughts swirling with the enormity of what we had witnessed. "Watson," he said suddenly, breaking the silence, "Ashwood Manor was only the beginning. The documents we recovered hint at a network, others who value secrecy above all else. This knowledge we carry, it is dangerous." I nodded, the weight of his words settling on me. "So, even now, the danger isn't over." "Far from it," he replied. "Those who wish to exploit such secrets will stop at nothing. But we must proceed cautiously. Every step we take is a step into a wider web of deception." As we approached the village outskirts, a horse-drawn carriage appeared through the mist, slowing as it neared us. Its driver, cloaked and hooded, tipped his head briefly before vanishing into the fog once more. Something about the encounter felt deliberate, as if someone had been watching our departure from the manor. Sherlock's eyes narrowed. "Indeed, Watson, the guardians of secrecy are far-reaching. We must be prepared for pursuit. They will not allow these revelations to remain in our hands without challenge." The journey back to London was tense. The streets, usually bustling with life, felt shadowed and quiet, as though the city itself held its breath. We lodged in our familiar quarters, but sleep eluded me. Every creak, Every distant footstep seemed amplified, echoing the unease that Ashwood Manor had instilled. The next morning, Sherlock spread the letters and documents across the table. "We must catalog everything," he said, "and determine the significance of each artifact. Only then can we anticipate the moves of those who seek to manipulate the truth." Hours passed as we deciphered codes, cross-referenced genealogies, and traced the manor's influence across generations. Patterns began to emerge: alliances, betrayals, and clandestine societies whose existence had been carefully hidden from public knowledge. Suddenly, a note slid under the door. I picked it up, and Sherlock's eyes immediately scanned the paper. It read simply, "The shadows are watching. Trust no one." Sherlock's expression was grave. "They know we have the knowledge, and they will come for it. We must act wisely, Watson. The safety of countless innocents may depend on what we do next." Days turned into nights as we prepared. Sherlock built contingencies, mapped potential threats, and formulated plans with his usual meticulous detail. I watched him, realizing that this case had grown far beyond Ashwood Manor. It was no longer a simple investigation, but a battle for control over truths that could shape the destiny of many. Then, one evening, a coded message arrived, this time via a trusted courier. It contained directions to a hidden location outside the city, where we were promised answers about the origin of the Ashwood secrets. The handwriting was unmistakably precise, the same as the notes we had encountered in the manor. Sherlock's eyes gleamed. "Watson, the next phase begins. We must venture into the heart of the unknown once more, for only there will we uncover the full scope of Ashwood's legacy." I swallowed hard, knowing the risks, yet trusting in Sherlock's unwavering logic and courage. As night fell, we set out once more, leaving the familiar streets of London behind. Some mysteries are meant to haunt forever, but others demand to be solved. And in the shadows of those secrets, we would confront the ultimate challenge. The journey to the hidden location was tense and silent. The fog rolled over the countryside like a living veil, and every shadow seemed to hold a secret. Sherlock rode ahead, his eyes sharp, constantly scanning for signs of danger. I followed closely, the weight of the Ashwood documents heavy in my satchel, aware that what we carried could change everything. At last, we reached an ancient estate, smaller than Ashwood Manor but equally imposing. Its gates were iron-wrought, twisted into strange symbols that mirrored those we had seen in the manor. Sherlock dismounted, studying the patterns carefully. "They are expecting us," he murmured, "and they wish to see if we are worthy of what we have discovered." We entered the estate cautiously. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of old parchment and wax. At the center of a large chamber stood a circular table, surrounded by hooded figures. Their presence was commanding, almost suffocating, yet they did not move as we approached. One figure stepped forward, a woman, older than the guardian we had met at Ashwood Manor. Her eyes, sharp and calculating, assessed us in seconds. "You have survived the trials of Ashwood," she said, voice calm but full of authority. "Few have done so. But survival is not enough. Knowledge without wisdom is a weapon that destroys the unprepared." Sherlock inclined his head. "We do not seek power. We seek understanding and the ability to prevent harm. The secrets of Ashwood must be used responsibly." The woman studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well, you may see the final truth." She gestured, and the hooded figures parted, revealing a hidden chamber beyond the table. Inside lay a library, vast and untouched, filled with manuscripts, artifacts, and records that spanned centuries. As we entered, Sherlock's eyes widened with recognition. This is the heart of Ashwood's legacy. Everything, the experiments, the alliances, the betrayals recorded here. I could feel the weight of history pressing down upon us. Each artifact seemed to hum with untold stories, each manuscript whispering the lives of those who had sacrificed, lied, and loved in pursuit of knowledge and power. The woman approached, placing a hand on the largest tome. This contains the culmination of all Ashwood's secrets. You may study it, but know this: the shadows will always watch those who seek the truth. Wisdom is the shield you must wield. Sherlock carefully opened the tome. The pages revealed truths more intricate than anything we had imagined. Lineages intertwined with hidden societies, knowledge guarded for centuries, and warnings for the future. Each revelation was more astonishing than the last, yet Sherlock absorbed it all with calm precision. Hours passed. Finally, he closed the tome, a sense of satisfaction, solemnity on his face. Watson, we now hold the full story. The mystery is no longer one of shadows and fear, but of understanding, responsibility, and vigilance. Ashwood's legacy is preserved, yet the danger remains. Knowledge can be a beacon or a weapon, depending on those who possess it. The woman nodded. You have proven worthy? Go forth with care. The world beyond these walls is unaware of the power contained here, and it must remain so for now. As we left the estate, the first rays of dawn broke through the fog, painting the landscape in soft gold. I glanced at Sherlock, whose expression was calm but reflective. The adventure ends. For now, he said, but Ashwood will remain a reminder that some mysteries are eternal, and some truths demand guardians. I nodded, understanding the depth of his words. Together, we walked back toward London, carrying not only the secrets of Ashwood Manor, but the wisdom to protect the man. The knowledge that the shadows may always watch, but courage, reason, and vigilance can light the way. And so, the tale concluded, not with fear, but with understanding. The manor's mysteries were laid bare, its truths preserved, and Sherlock Holmes and I had once again proven that intellect, courage, and insight could conquer even the darkest shadows. If you like this video, then like the video and subscribe channel for more video. Thanks for watching.